couldn't be more excited for you. I hope you have learned a lot over the past and you are super duper excited like I am to be almost done with boot camp. So you made it, you did it. Stay tuned, let's get into this video. I don't know about you, but I feel like home inspections are one of those things that buyers know that they need to do it, but they don't really understand why it's so important for them to do it. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that today. Once you come into an agreement with the seller and you sign the contract, you're going to enter into the inspection phase of the closing period. Typically, inspection can range from anywhere to 14 to 17 days for you to get your inspections done. During this time, you'll want to get as much information as you can about the new home that you're purchasing. And the best way to do that is through a very good home inspector. An inspection will tell you everything you need to know about the property, and that is vital information, so pay close attention. Your inspection needs to be done by a professional, reputable inspector. Like any professional, the inspectors can vary in quality. So you want to make sure to reach out to your agent or friends, anybody that has used anyone in the past, and get recommendations for good, reputable inspectors. Inspections are going to cost you a few $100 out of pocket, but it's so well worth it and can help you so much down the line. There's one thing I will say, that it is absolutely worth it to get a home inspection, even on new construction, because I get that question often. It's new construction, why do I need a new inspection? New construction can have issues too. Things could get missed. So you want to make sure that you get a home inspection. Again, that is kind of ties back to last week with those tips. Sometimes in this market, because it's very competitive, some people are waiving the home inspection. I, however, don't really recommend that because, again, this is the biggest investment you're most likely making in your life. So you want to make sure you know what you're investing in. Even if it's brand new, you still want to get a home inspection. Now, I do say that you can shorten the days or do a pass-fail inspection, but I wouldn't recommend getting rid of it totally. But again, some people they're not averse to risk. If you have a high risk tolerance and you want to do it and win the bid, that's your choice. You make that decision. My job is to advise you and educate you. And once I've done that, the final decision is yours. Once the inspection date comes, the inspector will take in-depth look in your house, inside and outside. They will check the main systems in your house, including the plumbing and the electrical, to make sure. They'll also make note of more minor things like cracked towels, broken seals around the sink, for instance. After they're done with the inspection, you're going to get a full report of their findings and its condition and the condition of the home. In the report, the inspector is going to outline anything that needs to be repaired in the home. Like, say for instance, they noticed that somebody decided they're going to be a plumber for one day and they messed up and busted some pipes. So they're going to make note of all of that. They're going to crawl under your home. If you have a crawl space, they're going to be in the attic. They're going to be everywhere. So they are going to make note again of major things as well as some small minor things that would be considered cosmetic as well. So once you get the report, you review it, you'll make a list of the items that you want to have prepared. Now remember, the inspector is going to make a list of everything from potential issue with the HVAC. There could be a list of 100 things that, I'm being exaggerated, but quite literally it could be a long list. It can be a list of just 10 items. So again, what you want to do is review the list, and I as your agent would do that with you. And we would pick the items that are, major, that would be expensive for you to fix, and that, especially in this market, you don't want to nitpick too much. You don't want to give a long list because, the seller could say, hey, you know what? They don't want to play game. They'll walk away. So you want to be reasonable with your list. So what we'll do is sit down together, make that list, and then we have a repair list, and we go back to the seller and say, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, here's the list of items that we would like to have either replaced or repaired. We just sit back and wait to hear back from the seller. Hopefully the seller comes back to us and agrees with our request, and they will fix those items and provide a receipt so that we know that the work has been done. Or there might be some negotiation back and forth again where they say, okay, we're going to do items 1, 3, and 7, and the other items we're not going to do. And another option that the seller has is to provide repair credits. They may decide that, hey, they don't want to be bothered with trying to do any repairs, so they will give you a credit towards those repairs. And in most cases, that lowers the price of the home so that you can then, once you move in, take your time and repair any issues that were found during the home inspection. Again, keep in mind that the seller does not have to fix everything that is on the report that the home inspector provides. We want to narrow down the list and take that list to provide that list to the seller. The seller can come back and say no deal, that they're not interested in making any repairs. If that happens, depending on what contingencies you have, you can walk away from the deal and get out of the contract at that point if the seller is not willing to move forward and both parties are not able to come to an agreement. It's also important to note that if there are any major issues with the home, the lender may require you to fix those changes before they will give you a loan. So that's something to keep in mind. Once the inspection is done, you can then move along in the closing process and get the appraisal done and sort out your home insurance. Those are the last few steps prior to closing. Next week is our very last week together. Oh, I'm gonna miss you. Can you believe it? We have come so far in just a few months. I'll talk to you more then. I'll talk to you more next week.